Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jay. I'm your host of Rock and Recovery. Today's special guest is Brittany Peeler. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. And she's here to tell her and share her sobriety journey and what she's doing now. So, Brittany, take it away.
Hi, I'm Brittany Peeler. You got it right. Brittany, like banana peeler. Uh, my sobriety date is May 3rd, 2023. So, May 3rd, it'll be 3 years. Super excited about that. I now today I help high achieving women who are like building this big, beautiful life on the outside, but still feel disconnected on the inside. I help them to get present and feel calm and grounded because I know what it's like to be living in like a fast-paced world and look really good on the outside, but be dying on the inside trying to keep it all together. So that's a
I know how that feels, because I think anybody that's in the business world or in that type of a lifestyle has to hold it together and they're just dying on the inside. And you'll never know somebody's struggles until they decide to share or something drastic happens.
Yeah, and it feels like such a blessing to know, like, to know what it feels like and to have hit that breaking point and then to start learning, oh, I'm not the only one, and then starting to learn like the tools to come out of it and to help navigate and to be on this side I'm sure, I'm sure you can relate to. It feels like such a blessing to now be able to walk through the world understanding that like everybody's feeling some sort of to some sort of extent versus feeling like isolated, like I'm the only one that is dealing with these deep feelings.
So how did you get it? When did you decide you were actually an addict or an alcoholic or whatever the case may be? And how did it affect you going forward? What brought you into that life?
I started drinking at 15. I believe I was 15 when I started, and it was love at first drink. Like I remember
Mm.
the euphoria, the euphoric feeling, and it felt like pure relief. Knowing now, I have words for it. It was pure relief, and it was really off to the races from there on. But I strategically put myself in party environments. I started bartending in college and right after high school. And I just strategically kept myself in the party scene. So I blended in well. And I think it was like mid 20s, my mom started questioning my drinking. In my late 20s, I started noticing like I had some I had some friends that partied really hard, but I would notice that I would drink a little bit faster than them sometimes. And I'm like, these people are like doing harder drugs, like they're doing way harder things than I am. But on like a normal Tuesday when nothing's going on, I'm slamming vodka, grapefruit juices, and they're like, "Oh, I'm good." So I took note of that, and then when I turned 30 and like in my early 30s, those years it was just sliding downhill. I got sober at 33. So when I look back on my timeline in rehab, they have me do a use timeline. And those last couple of years, it was like every holiday, something was getting ruined. I was getting hurt. Like there was a big fight. There was all kinds of, it was like disaster, one after the other. And that's when it was like, okay, something's got to give here.
So what were you? Was it just a fitting in that kept you in it, or?
No, looking back, I can, I have words to it now, but at the time, I was just in so much pain. That was the only thing that really could give me like emotional relief from the emotional pain that I was in. And like looking back now, I can say that, but at the time, yeah, I felt so confused. I felt behind all the time. I felt like everybody had life figured out, but and like I was the one that was like the screw up in some way, even though on the outside it didn't look like that. I looked bubbly and happy. I had a good job. I had family, friends, all the things. But on
The
the inside,
masking.
yeah, I got really good at presenting a certain way to mask those deep, dark feelings.
What were the feelings you were going through that you didn't know how to cope with?
Definitely guilt. Definitely, and that's something that came up when I was in rehab. They offered grief group, and I just signed up. I was like, I'll do anything y'all are offering because I was so desperate to feel better. But I got into grief group and everybody was sharing about like losing loved ones and stuff like that, like deaths and things. And I had this feeling, I was like, I don't have anything like that. What was bubbling up for me was the loss of my volleyball career. And it's funny how like we're so quick to minimize our struggle or like what we're dealing with. So I was really quick to minimize my experience, but what I got from sitting in that grief group and like letting these feelings come up was when I was younger, all we really talked about was me going to play college volleyball. That was the dream, that was the goal, that was my whole identity growing up. And when it got to my senior year, we had a bankruptcy in our family, we had a divorce in our family, we had lots of things that the adults were busy tending to. And so I didn't really know how to navigate as a teenager, and alcohol was the one thing that gave me relief and like kind of caught me. And so I started turning to the alcohol, and because I did that, my volleyball career just never happened. And so that slow burning like
So
loss.
you're starting to that grief process for your volleyball career.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And as a young like okay, it was like senior year, everyone's going to college, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll just go to the community college and eventually I'll go to Florida State and I'll walk on and I'll play there. But it's like one it was like semester after semester, year after year, I chose drinking instead. And eventually I was like 25 and I'm like, oh my God, that day is gone. Like, and so I couldn't come to terms with it. So I just kept drinking more. To drown.
Wow. So during that time, did you have a career path? Did you have a job, a permanent job, or
Mm-mm. No,
so you're
I
just basically college and drinking full time?
yeah, that's what was so confusing too, because I was never like academics weren't valued in my home in like my home growing up. Like my mom's really spiritual, so she was very like our values were spiritual and intuition and that sort of thing. And then my dad, our values were like sports. So the whole academic thing just fell
So
flat.
you're either spiritual or you're a freaking all-star athlete, one of the two.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
college, only if you're going there for sports.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So when that didn't happen, it was like it was such uncharted waters that and I was scared. My distress tolerance was so low. I would turn to alcohol or drugs or food or any relationships and anything to fill that fear of like moving forward into the unknown.
Was it the self-worth? Did you have to deal with a lot of self-value after losing your volleyball career?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Especially from one side of your family not feeling good enough now, not now your dad can't be proud of you because you don't have a sports career.
mhm. And my dad's side of the family, they're all doctors. Like they're all real successful. Academics was huge generations back, but for me, it just kind of so I would look at my family and my family history, and there was just this big disconnect. So I couldn't help but compare, like subconsciously, I was comparing myself to all these people in my family from years and years ago and what they were able to accomplish. But I couldn't put my finger on like what's wrong with me? Like, what's wrong with me? Like something's wrong.
It's, and I think a lot of addicts or a lot of people that are coping with whatever they're coping with become addicts from us as a side effect because we don't know how to cope with it and we don't necessarily we can't express it outwardly to people because first of all they're our loved ones and it's so hard to feel like crack open that door and feel like you've got some a problem. Especially the older generation is like, why couldn't you just quit? Just man up, quit. I did it. Why can't you do it? Why can't you just have one? You know? So I think it is a real big disconnect, from that type of thinking to then we were raised that way so we can't show any weakness and now we're addicts because we were trying to hide our weaknesses with the substance.
Yeah.
So what was your turning point? What was your turning point that actually you said, that's it, fuck enough, and got out of it?
It had, so I referenced that use timeline, and that last year and a half, it was like I I fell off the golf cart and busted my knee open and couldn't walk for like 2 weeks. And then a couple weeks later, I fell off the golf cart again and I cracked my head
Mm.
open. And I could have died. I mean, I should have died. It was bad. And then shortly after that, like I fell again and I busted my lip open. And I was physically, I was like hurting myself. But then we had a St. Patrick's Day, and we always go to Savannah for St. Patrick's Day. And I got in this fight with this lady that my bark was a lot bigger than my bite. Like I'm a softie, but I just, when I would start drinking, I had all this anger built up, and I thought that I was like this badass, like that could just talk shit to anybody. And I I got in this fight with this woman at this bar, and it was really scary. It was like really they
Is
pulled
this like the first fight you've ever been in?
No, no, there was something that happened in high school that was pretty bad, and alcohol was involved. But
So my mom listens to all these, and she's in the chat right now. She says
oh,
St. Patty's Day in Savannah is insane.
it's
So
yeah, it really is. And like this woman, I didn't know who I was messing with. I just thought I was like bigger than life, and I she was flirting with my fiance, and I just started like going off on this lady, and they pulled us apart. And then later come to find out, this lady is like a boxer. Like she would have
oh,
put me in the hospital. Yeah, I would have, it would have been so bad. And so it scared me. It scared me so bad. Like, what am I capable of? Like if I can't be trusted out in public, to not
those
run.
inhibitions get lowered really quick, and
Yeah,
all of a sudden, when you wake up, it's like,
I did what? Yeah,
yeah, I did what to who?
to
Wait a
who?
minute. You
Yeah.
mean, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, but and that wasn't even it. But so that was St. Patrick's Day, which is in March. So by May 3rd, uh May 2nd, it was the day I went into rehab. But I was on I had been 2 weeks sober. I was like, I'm gonna, alcohol's not my friend. So I gave up drinking for 2 weeks and I felt amazing. And then I had a friend come in town, and I was like, okay, we'll go to dinner. I'll have one glass of wine, and then I'll just be back on the wagon tomorrow. And that turned into a 5-day bender. And I just wasn't stopping. Like I just wasn't stopping. So my mom showed up at my house on Monday because I couldn't make it into work on Monday. My mom showed up at my house and got me all settled, poured out all the alcohol, got me settled. I woke up Tuesday, kept drinking, couldn't stop.
Mm.
my mom showed up again 2 days in a row at my house, and that's when she was like, "I think you need to go somewhere."
Enough's enough.
Yeah, like the devastation in her face and, like, the desperation of, like, "Brittany, what are we gonna do?" And I just enough's enough. I just kinda, like
At least your mom, you had a mom that was showing up. I ghosted mine because, you know, yeah, we used to call, make an appointment a date to meet, and I used to just ghost her. For so many years, I would ghost her. I'm like, yeah, see ya. Yeah, it literally.
and then that healed, obviously, because
Yeah.
she's here
Oh
listening.
yeah, no, she lives like, a couple hours away from me now, because we both moved to Florida about the same time. So me from Colorado, her from like Rincon, Georgia. So like right up the street from Savannah. Uh,
Yeah,
so yeah, so we both ended up in Florida at the same time, and now we got a good relationship. So
oh, good. I'm in Florida too. It's a good place to
oh,
be.
nice.
Yeah.
Where at?
Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. So you're right there. She's in St. Augustine.
Oh, yeah, St. Augustine's great. Love St.
Yeah.
Augustine.
So your mom showed up. So did you go to a rehab or did you just go do meetings or?
Yeah, so I went to so the way it was sold, my mom's
Oh,
she's
she had to sell it to you?
sold it to me. She was like she's like, "We You need help." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I do." And um she's like she suggested this place. She's like, I found this place. It's beautiful, it's local, you can get massages anytime you want, there's a pool, there's a yeah, it was sold to me like a spa that I could go just detox at, which I
Like a
didn't.
vacation, like a little staycation.
Yeah, like a staycation. I didn't even know what detoxing was. I didn't know
Oof.
what addiction really was. I did not know anything about like AA or anything like that. I knew nothing. And so I mean I bought into going to a spa and like chilling at the pool, and we got in that night, and I remember um as soon as we got me in and we started packing my suitcase, my fiance and my mom started helping me pack. I went to the kitchen and opened a bottle of wine, and my mom's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm not going in there sober. Like, just let me have this, like just let me." So they did, and that was good because I needed it to get the courage to
To
get.
get there, yeah.
Yeah. So, but once I got in there, I saw that I had a roommate, and I was like, "Wait a minute, this isn't." I started like I started kind of processing that it was like a rehab, and I panicked. I wanted my phone. I'm like, "Give me my phone. Get me out of here. No, 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 no." And my mom, I finally got to call my mom, and she cried and begged me. She's like, "Brittany, please just stay the night. Just go to bed. Just go to bed and wake up tomorrow. We'll talk about this tomorrow." And I did, and that was like the best thing ever, because I woke up in the morning, I was so hung over from a 5-day bender, emotionally just like dry, and it all just hit me like the gravity of like where I had gotten myself. It just started to hit. And that was all I needed. That was enough for me. That was a serious enough bottom that I was open to just start listening to suggestions. And I
Right.
was in there for 47 days. I stayed
Wow.
for 47 days.
Wow, and sometimes I think all it takes is that eye-opening moment to say, "My life really does suck." You know, maybe not in any ways other than I'm tired of waking up hungover and having to reach for another bottle all the time. Mine was addicted to substances like methamphetamines, uh, and so for me, it was I'm tired of staying awake for sure, and I'm tired of forgetting. That was my biggest thing is I was tired of forgetting everything. And when I found Brittany, my Brittany, the way I found her, it was I didn't want to forget any of the good times, because there was plenty of bad times, but I didn't want to forget the good times.
So
So
were you using when you found her? Like y'all were
okay, so I found her on the 15th. That's when that's when it happened. Last time I actually got high was the 14th. So I considered the 15th my sober day. And from the 15th until now, it's been 15th of June 2024 till now, it's been just been sober. Been in
wow.
recovery, been sober. I do celebrate recovery, uh, which is Jesus Christ is my savior, my higher power,
Mhm.
and that's the way I help there. I'm a volunteer. I do outreach. I do this. I do a bunch of other things, but that's how I got sober and remained sober. But for the first almost year, I would be what they would call a dry drunk, you know, and so I was sober. I was clean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the easy part, throughout it all. But dealing with everything else after that was the hard part. And now I'm a week away from graduating college with a bachelor's degree. I live in Florida. I am a big part of my Celebrate Recovery out here. And yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
What'd you get your degree in?
Business administration with an IT emphasis.
So cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Literally, I've got a 3-hour test I got to do for my final test. And I'm like,
Oh my God, you got it.
yeah, absolutely. So
Wow.
now you're in recovery. Did they have to do, uh, do they have to do, or did you have to do a medical detox? Did you actually have to do a medical detox?
Like they putting me on medication and stuff?
Yeah, like monitor you. Did you get the withdrawals like the DTs, the shakes and the chills and all that stuff?
I no, I didn't get any of that. They did put me on detox meds, but and so this is a funny story. The the first day, so I come to, I'm like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And they're knocking on our doors and they're like, "You got to go take your meds." And I'm like, "Meds?" Like I don't even like I didn't even use that term. And I'm like, "I don't even take meds. What are you even talking about?" And so I go get in the med line, which for
The
detox.
Medline. That
Yeah, the med
sounds so much like prison, I'm telling you.
in my room was right next to the med line, which wound up being kind of cool because we got to see all like the crazy stuff go down. We would it was
You're in a
actually
detox. You're in
yeah.
a detox in a recovery place, and you're talking about seeing crazy. Absolutely.
Oh my God. I journaled. I wrote down so many things that happened, um, and I was one of them actually my first day. So I like kind of, I'm in my PJs and I just crack open my door. I step out and I'm standing there in this line and I just kind of went down. Like I just
Oh,
slid
wow.
down the wall and collapsed. And I came to, I'm on the floor, there's like three nurses around me, like all the patients are like, what's going on? Like it was like chaos. And I'd passed out because my blood sugar dropped so low
The
because
sugar
I
plummeted.
hadn't eaten. Yeah, I was full of like red wine for days.
Oh,
I hadn't
wow.
eaten anything. So I guess my blood sugar dropped really low. And
Potassium levels and all that.
yeah, so they were like spoon feeding me eggs and all the
Wow.
yeah, they were gonna about to take me to the emergency room, but thank God they didn't have to. But yeah, so that happened. Then they take me and they put me in my bed and they were taking my blood and I was crying because it was just so scary. It was kind of traumatizing at first. And I remember looking at the nurse and I remember I was crying and I was like, is this really gonna help me? And like this, like rehab, you know? And she was like, well, that's gonna depend on you. I'll never forget. Like she just looked me dead in the eye and was like, that's gonna depend on you. And she was like, because some people come out of here and they take all the suggestions, they do all the things, and they go on to be motivational speakers. And she said, and then some people come in and they don't take it seriously. They don't take the suggestions. They go right back to doing exactly what they were doing before they got in here, and they relapse, they come back, they come back 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 times. And when she said that, I, it just clicked into place. I wrote it in my journal. I
You
just
don't
took,
want this to be your life anymore?
yeah, I was like, nobody is coming to save me. Like, no matter how much my mom loves me, my fiance, that like no amount of blame towards like what people in my life did or didn't do, like it doesn't matter. Like this is on me. And that was the kick in the ass that I needed to listen.
So how long did you stay there? You said 47 days?
Hmm.
So on the day of your release, what did you decide you were going to do with your life?
It's funny because the day of my release, I was like, well,
Maybe just a little drink.
no, oh no, oh hell,
Okay, good.
I was scared to death. No, no, I
Good.
didn't wanna leave. That's what I was
Oh,
gonna
really?
say. Yeah, they were like, "You can leave first thing in the morning," and I was like, "Well, I'll have breakfast with the girls." So, and then I was like, "Well, I'll go to our first meeting, our first, like, and I just kept wanting to extend it.
Yeah.
And I think I was so scared, I didn't really wanna leave. I didn't fully trust myself yet. So I
Okay.
did I knew there was no going back to the way that I was living beforehand, but I had never built that trust being alone with myself outside of like protective walls. So it was scary leaving.
See, I guess that's where I got used to being alone with myself that first year because literally there was nobody around at all. You know, once in a while my best friend would visit me and she'd stick around for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Or Jay, what are you doing? Nothing, you know. Because I isolated myself because I still almost had to live in the same place. I lived in the same place that I found her for like the first 2 or 3 months, and I moved to a different apartment and in a different town, but it was still in the same county area. So I still knew all the same people. So I literally basically isolated myself, from everybody outside the world, you know. So yeah, I learned how to live with myself really early. And I kind of regret that, but I'm glad for it because I can sit with myself and be happy, you know. So it's just weird. Yeah, just being by yourself sometimes. Okay, being alone or feeling alone and feeling lonely are two different things. I'm never lonely, but I'm alone a lot of the times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that's what made me so successful when I was in rehab. I spent a lot of time in the meditation room. Like, I developed the habit first thing when I would wake up, I would make my bed, I'd go get coffee because it's the only thing they'd give us. That like that's the only it's like all we had to look forward to. So I'd go get coffee and then I'd go to the meditation room and I would sit and I would meditate and I just really would go to that quiet place within and I just made myself at home, like in that inner serenity place on the inside. And a lot of my friends in treatment would be out at the smoke pit. They'd be smoking cigarettes. They'd be like gossiping about who did what, who stole whose stuff, who did this, who did that, like who got kicked out, who was trading stuff with the guys through the fence. Like there was just, I mean, like we said, so many crazy stories. And I
Still
just,
living that life of chaos while you're still in there.
yeah. Yeah. So I just opted out of that and
Smart,
I would go within. And
very smart. And I think I also had the tendency to do that. I can see all the chaos, I can see it and I can choose whether or not to interact with it. And normally, more than likely, my choice is, you can miss me.
mhm. Yeah, and before I got sober, I was the opposite. I had such bad FOMO. I wanted to be in the middle of everything. I
Right.
yeah, so it was definitely like a 180. that
You want
happened.
to know who's talking about who, or did they
Yeah.
talk about me? Or yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So, what was one of the biggest things you had to let go in your recovery for the growth? S-
Hmm. So it like I said, it was very clear there's no going back. Like I got it. I had done enough
That
research.
life was over.
It was done. We're done. So I didn't go on my social media like and so I'm talking about like the first month, this first month. No social media. I didn't even watch TV, really. I didn't listen to music. I bubble wrapped myself. I just wanted to stay in that safe place. So even I reorganized the kitchen. I like where all my wine glasses were and where I kept my wine, I put plates there and I just moved things around because I knew like the old habits and the old way of doing stuff just had to go on every level. So I didn't talk to I let go of a lot of friends, and when I say that, it's not like I let go of them as friends that I love, but I just kind of put out an announcement like I'm not doing anything. Like I'm not hanging out, I'm not coming to I said no to like all of my volleyball leagues that I played in, all my kickball leagues, like I'm not playing, I'm not doing it. I said no to everything.
Right.
And I just got really intentional on I went to PHP, which is like an outpatient um, recovery
Okay.
treatment. So I went there like all day, every day, as much as I could, and I dove into meetings, and I just worked overtime, meeting new people who were sober and who had what I wanted, who were living a life that I wanted.
Okay. So, next question is, now that you like I was kind of trying to get to before I got sidetracked, squirrel moments all the time, squirrels.
All the time.
Uh, what did you decide to do with your life after, so you're just leaving recovery the center, you're starting to, you got the fear of being alone still, you didn't trust yourself.
Mhm.
So what now? What's the next step for you?
So when I was in rehab, I had, I want to say it was in a meditation. It like hit me like a lightning bolt. Like I knew I wanted to share my story. I knew it was like this inner knowing, this like, there's no going back. And so I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that looked like. At the time, I worked with my boyfriend, who's now my fiance, building his company. And I had a lot of friends and family that worked there. So I didn't know how I was going to untangle all that I was involved in and go follow this like thing on my heart about sharing my story. I didn't even know what that I had no idea. But I just knew that there was no other option. It was like I'm not going back to drinking. I can't go backwards and I have to follow this. So what that looked like at the beginning, it really was like just taking one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. So eventually about 6 months in, I got back on my Instagram and I just started posting content. I created a YouTube and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I just feel called to talk about this, like what's been going on. And I just started following it. So I started, I did that, and then I became a smart recovery facilitator. Have you heard of smart recovery?
Yeah, in fact, I had somebody on here talk about smart recovery. I forget the person's name. I also had Massimo Rigodi on here talking about sober method. I've had a lot of people on here that talk. There are certain niches of but smart recovery was one of them. Yep.
Yeah, I lead a smart recovery meeting tonight actually. But so I became a facilitator for that. And
Nice.
I started doing those meetings. And I started volunteering. I just started listening to my body. Like it may sound crazy, but I just started listening to like, when do I feel excited? And go there. Say yes to that stuff. When do I not feel excited? When do I feel stressed or like I'm shrinking, and get the hell out of there? And I just started following when I started feeling like I was expanding. And really what that was like in all these different recovery areas. And then I got back into yoga and teaching yoga. And little by little, what's happened is now I've created a keynote speech. So I have a keynote, and it's not all recovery, but it's some of it. And now I've created a program for women that helps them like create a different relationship to their inner voice. You don't have to be in recovery. It's not just recovery, but it's all of these things that I've learned over the years that I'm piecing together in my own way and finding my specific people that I can help. And again, like it's kind of hard to answer the question because I don't really know. I feel like I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. But I went from the 180 of being all in my fiance's roofing company, roofing and construction, to now building a community of women who just like want to heal and healing their inner voice and teaching them yoga and fitness and helping with recovery and all of that, and creating content, creating a keynote speech
So for
about it.
those that are listening, what is smart recovery?
Smart recovery it stands for self-management and recovery training. And there's no labels. We don't say alcoholic or addict. We don't count days. It's science-based tools to help you change the unwanted behavior, whether it's drugs, alcohol, smoking, gambling, sex, whatever, food, any unwanted behavior. It helps you change that behavior.
That's awesome. So
Mhm.
now tell me about your book and what exactly is From Addiction to Alignment. What does that mean?
So I am working on a book, but the book's not out yet.
Okay, well, tell me about the book.
Okay, so yeah, that is in the works, but so going from I think what you're talking about is going from autopilot to aligned action. And so that's the three-step method, which
Okay.
is going from autopilot to creating awareness to taking aligned action.
So it's like living with purpose.
Yes. Yeah. And you can think of it in every category of your life. So like for example, right now, I am very intentional about my social circle and um like my career, what I'm doing in my career and my health and fitness. But right now, my living environment, I feel like I'm kind of on autopilot. I come home, I throw stuff in the same corner. I have things piling at the garage needs to be cleaned out. Like there's certain things piling up, and that's like an autopilot. And we have that in all areas of our life, whether it's with the people that we hang out with or the stuff that we eat or the way that we exercise or what we drink or use. We do it in all areas of our life. So it's this constant practice of realizing where we're on autopilot, creating the awareness, and then taking aligned action in the direction of our values and what we want to create on like a bigger scale.
Nice. So it's going from, so to put it in my terms, it'd be going from like, I don't know, normal to purpose, you know,
Yeah.
living with a purpose, doing everything with a purpose,
Yeah.
a goal in mind, whether
Mhm.
that be, you know, just so you don't have to do it all in one day, like clean your house,
Mhm.
or So just taking little steps to for to reach an end goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Being in the driver's seat of your own life. And I
Yeah.
think we both can relate to being
Oh yeah.
not in the driver's seat, and it's doesn't really take you it's fun for a little while, but
With my belief, my higher power, Jesus Christ, I am not I really realized I'm not in the driver's seat any of the time. And when I do drive, it's normally into like the swamp I live by, and alligator infested, you know. So I would rather somebody take the driver's seat like that. But yes, I agree with living in alignment with yourself and, with your higher power and whatever you believe in. You got to live within an alignment, live with purpose, walk with purpose, everything with a purpose, because, without that, what are you really doing? You're just existing.
right. Right. And I'm with you. I start every day like closing my eyes, getting connected to my higher power and turning the day over, and I'm like, just make me a channel. Make me a channel of like your love and light. Use me. I'm your boots on the ground. Like you put the
Yeah.
words in my mouth, bring me the people to help. And so yeah, like turning it over in that way and not being in the driver's seat. And then also from like a mere human perspective of like using this physical body that I've been given to listen to and listen to of like what feels like expansion, what feels like growth and love and connection
And
and
what feels totally wrong.
what feels wrong and living in alignment with that based on
So I got a question. So early on in your recovery, I mean, we're both still pretty much new in recovery, you
Mhm.
know. So have you ever been triggered, and how do you deal with those triggers?
2 times. I think the 2 worst times they were involving with my dad, and they it was like a very deep wound that was pressed on. And I love the saying, like, our triggers are our biggest teachers for this reason specifically. And one was early on. I was probably 6 months sober, and it was something had happened with my dad and my uncle. And like when I got sober, I'm like, oh, now I'm the sober one. I'm going to bring the whole family together, and I'm healing. I'm going to help everybody heal. And that was my intention with this thing that was going on. And anyway, I didn't get I didn't get like the feedback or the response that I anticipated, like had an expectation on.
All those expectations.
I had an expectation. I sent a group text out to family. Did not get the response that I wanted. So that kind of hurt, but I was like, whatever. But then the next day I opened my Facebook, and a lot of my family were together, and
Oh,
the people in the text, and it just gut punched like, and I was 6 months into recovery, so I was
ooh.
fresh. And I remember just like collapsing on the bed. I was crying. I and I was like, "Oh my God, this is it. This is the trigger. This is what used to drive me nuts." And what I used to do was go straight to the kitchen, chug a glass of wine, and then pour another one, and then like start to process it, and then probably call my mom, and like just the chaos would
The
start
spiral.
spiral. And so I'll never forget it because I was like, okay, Brittany, like this is the perfect storm right now. And I called my sponsor. She didn't answer. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh,
And I sat there and I was like, okay, use your tools. And this is actually a smart recovery tool. It's called ABCDE. But basically what it is it's like you look at the activating event and you trace what belief it's what the belief is. So I'm like, all right, what's the activating event? The Facebook picture. That activated me. What's the belief that's coming up? And the belief that was coming up was that I don't fit in. Like I don't belong with
You're
my family.
not good enough.
Not good enough. I don't belong with them. So I'm like, wow. And once I had that awareness, I was like, okay, that's really painful. But then it's like, okay, the next step is challenge it. So I challenged it and I'm like, my dad loves me so much and we are rebuilding and like there's just so much healing happening. And I started having all of these thoughts challenging that belief because I was sober. When I was drunk, I couldn't
Oh
see.
yeah, you would have been over.
So with the clarity, I was able to challenge it. And just by doing that, just challenging that belief, I was able to see like, okay, maybe I don't have it all figured out. And then it's like, okay, what's the new behavior? And it was like, okay, I'll wait till I get regulated and then I'll have a conversation with my dad and I'll ask him some questions and I'll be more curious. I won't jump straight to like conclusions. And that shifted. I mean, it saved doing damage with me and my dad, but on a deeper level, it helped me with me. It helped me heal with me. And like,
Knowing that you could get through a situation like that.
yeah, yeah. And knowing like, okay, the thing that was so painful was the thing that I was telling myself that this external event meant about me. And that's not true. So,
No.
like, what else isn't true? What else have I been saying to myself that's not true?
And when that moment right there, how much clarity and how much freeing was that being able to go through? Because I heard this saying one time, a good day in recovery is staying sober, right? A better day in recovery is having those challenges and still remaining sober.
Yeah. Yeah. It did. It built so much trust with me. I built so much self-trust and self-respect and compassion with myself of like kind of the thought patterns that come up and the way that I beat down on myself. And so I was able to create space there and be able to come and like be my own best friend versus tear myself down. So that's the course that I've built that I actually help women with is a lot of that same work. It's like we there's all these areas that we're on autopilot, even in just the way that we think, and it
Yeah.
tears us. We tear ourselves down. So when we can start to create that separation and get in there and go from autopilot to having the awareness of, oh, these are the thoughts that are going on in my own head, and then take aligned action on the thoughts that we want to replace them with, that's like mega healing right there.
Yeah, that's a lot of growth right there.
Mhm.
Because at one point in time, any little trigger or even nose would be, if you weren't included, if I wasn't included in something, I wasn't good enough. Oh, that's a reason to use. And now I say no more than I say yes. I mean, honestly, it's one of those boundaries. And, I've got a lot to say about boundaries. And the biggest one is if somebody doesn't respect your boundary, then they had no respect for you in the first place, you
Mhm.
know? But as an addict, our boundaries are so giving. We don't have boundaries. What's a boundary?
Yeah.
So, and I also like to say, you know, uh, I wouldn't let anybody else talk to me the way I talk to me.
Mm.
I wouldn't let anybody else talk to me the way I talk to me. Our thoughts are lies. Our feelings lie to us all the time. Most of our thoughts are lying to us still. And when I lean into my higher power more, it becomes more clear of how much I lie to myself.
Mhm. Do you have like a practice that you use
Oh
to
yeah, I've got this chant that I goes over and over in my head. So if I start thinking, if my thoughts aren't, the ones that I would let anybody else tell me, I just recite in my head over and over again. I sought the Lord, he heard and he answered.
Mm,
That's what I say over and over in my head. Like I can be quiet and people are like, why is Jay so quiet? But I'm going replaying that verse, of the song. It's I sought the Lord, he heard and he answered over and over and over and over. And it works.
yeah. Brings you that relief.
Yeah. It quits all the negative voices. It quits all the negative thinking. You slowly start to smile again. And it works great for me.
Hmm.
Just that simple, what, 1 second phrase, saying 10, 15 times over my head. That's all I need.
Hmm. It's so powerful.
It
It's
is. It
it's
really
so
is.
powerful.
So as we're getting towards the end of this, tell me how people can look you up and get a hold of you on Instagram and all the other places.
My Instagram handle is Brittany, Brittany _ peeler, like banana peeler. And that's where I post the most is on my Instagram right now.
Okay.
YouTube is Leveling Up with Brittany on YouTube. I'm going to start posting more yoga and meditations on my YouTube. And then I'm starting my second cohort of the Inner Voice Reset, which is the program that I referenced. That's going to be starting up soon. So if you're listening and you're interested and you want to dig in and just rewire some of the stuff that's going on in your own head, go over to my Instagram and message me to get on the wait list for that.
Awesome. And what's one takeaway you want everybody out there that's listening to hear and maybe take something away from? What's your biggest point?
Your body is your body and your inner guidance system are your biggest like navigators, and there are ways, even if you don't know, especially if you don't know, because I didn't know, I had to learn how to use them. But once you start to learn how to listen to the sensations in your body and follow what feels like growth, what feels like expansion and alignment, and what doesn't, and then start to take inventory of the thoughts and navigate what's in your head, your inner guidance system is going to lead you like in the right direction every time. So if you want more clarity on that, definitely follow some of my content, because that's what I talk about, is teaching people how to listen and tune into their own inner guidance.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on here and share with us. I know you've done amazing things. Almost 3 years, and then another month you're going to be having 3 years. How big is that? That's
I'm
huge.
excited. It's got this little necklace has my date on it.
May 23rd.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. Okay, May 3rd. I'm sorry, of 23. Yeah. Shit,
Yeah.
that's only like 2 weeks.
I know. We're
Wow.
doing like we're celebrating. We're doing a big celebration. It's funny, in sobriety, we celebrate birthdays more than like belly button birthdays. Like
Yeah,
now
we do. Yeah.
Like now
Big accomplishments. Those are milestones.
yeah, it's so much better than a birthday.
It's so much better. So I do appreciate you taking your time out of your day. It's such a nice day in Florida right now.
It is.
So thank you for taking time out of your day and coming on here and sharing your journey and your experiences. I know it's going to help somebody out there. So I really do appreciate you and everything that you're doing with the smart recovery and your recovery and being able to share it so open. That takes a lot. I know how hard it is to just be open sometimes. So I'm very proud of you for doing that. It takes a lot. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jay. It was so nice to meet you. So fun to talk to you, and I appreciate your platform and what you're doing for people. This is incredible. This is what I think I said in the message. A couple years before I got sober, I found a podcast, and this woman was talking about sobriety. I had never heard anyone be open,
Really?
and that's what planted the seed for me. I didn't mention that. That's what planted the seed. So when it all went down, I was actually willing to go to treatment because I had heard a podcast a couple years ago of someone talking about this. So this is like, I mean, who knows what kind of seeds are being planted for people, even if it's not right away, but how it'll grow and progress for people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And you know what? I can't wait to hear more from you. Follow your Instagram. I will follow it once I get off here. So I'll be following you and keeping tabs on you. So thank you for being on the show. You're a great, amazing guest. Your story was very inspirational. And I just wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, Jay. You
Thank
too.
you. And that's Rock and Recovery for today. So tune in next time. Who knows who we're going to have? And keep the hope. Hold on. The pain does end. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And we're out of here.